勝負
Please, 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 please. Please, 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 please.
皆さんようこそ My name is Nanashi from Gameplay Shinobi, and I've recently played GRAV because the game has been updated a couple of times, and I'm pleased to say that they've made a lot of changes, and those changes are actually a good changes, because if you remember my previous video about GRAV, it was a horrible mess. I mean, really. It was advertised that the game has single player, but it didn't. You had to set up a multiplayer server, and essentially, you had to play alone, and that hogged up the PC resources, so not everyone could do it. So it was badly optimized. It had lots of glitches to the point that you couldn't even start or join the game because there was a menu bugs, then performance issues, glitches, lags. I just had a horrible experience with it when it came out. However, couple of months later, I've decided to give it another go, and I'm pleasantly surprised. Now this is the post commentary video because I was recording it with Fraps, and unfortunately the Fraps kind of doesn't work well with this game, and also I forgot to set the microphone on Fraps, because it doesn't always automatically detect that you have a microphone on. So yeah, kind of my fault that I didn't look into it, but never mind. So yeah, the gameplay now with this game is really fun, although most of the time you will be harvesting for resources, just like wood or element X, but everything about it is really cool because the game doesn't hold your hand. So essentially what it means, you have to go out there, you have to explore, you have to try things, you have to find a way to beat certain enemies, although enemy AI is a little bit dumb. And speaking about the AI, I had a little bit of frustration with it, because as I was going past the like fields or something like that, or trees, whatever, enemy spawned just beside me, and it was like a powerful enemy, and I got like 3 shots and I died like really fast, and I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. And then you respawn in a default location, which is your starting area. So this is a little bit disappointing, but once you build the locator, I think it lets you spawn at the locator, which is great. Now the game has a single player, finally, a much needed feature. It has been, the performance has been improved by quite a lot, actually. It's not perfect, but it runs smoothly, and it's finally playable, at least for me. Now I haven't tried multiplayer with the new patches because I kind of don't want to. It seems like this is kind of game that I want to enjoy with the friends. I don't want to have grieving or people destroying my stuff. This is a sandbox experience, and it takes a long time to to get stuff. Although you can upgrade your it starts slowly, but then when you upgrade your tools, you start to gather more resources. It's faster, and it's just the beginning that is slow. But I think they're going in the right way by improving, the game mechanics they have already. Now, have I encountered other issues? I wouldn't say issues, but what I've noticed is a lot of the resources there are, on the surface of the planet. Now, this is kind of bad because you would expect that you would have to dig for ore, and I don't think this game has terraforming, which means you can't really mess around with the terrain. But that being said, there are dungeons that you can get certain loot. There are caves, I suppose. There's spaceships scatters, like a randomly generated content that you can loot and find, or you can go through. So that's cool. That's really cool. And I think once you get your base, going, the next step is just to start exploring, start getting the loot, getting the vehicles, getting the resources for the vehicles, for better weapons, exploring the dungeons. Now, I haven't really played in a dungeon, and I haven't completed it. I haven't gotten that far in the game, so I don't know whether it's worth it or not at this stage of development. But I see that they're putting a lot of effort, and I really mean it. They're putting a lot of effort. I think in the 2 months time, the game finally is stable, playable. A little bit, it needs a little bit more optimization, audio options as well, because it's pretty loud, and you can't even, you don't even have sliders for audio. But that's not an issue, at least for me. But yeah, it needs more content. It needs more optimization, like I said. And I think this game has a really big promise, and I hope they will, succeed. Now, they should have released the game at this stage. They should have waited 2 months, seriously, because they've released the game in a terrible state. And we're not judging the games, by the promises, because promises are not reality. Promises are, out there. They're not, reality, like I've said. What we have is an early access game, and we should review the content or make a first impression video based on the game that we have, regardless whether it's an early access or not. Because a lot of the times, if you think about it, I've been screwed over by the devs, because I purchased early access games like Starforge or Legend of Aetherius. Those two are just from top of my head, and I gotta say, I'm disappointed because they've released a game, but it's nowhere near complete. Nowhere near complete. So yeah, early access is a hit or miss. That's why I was not, nice. I was honest. I was honest with this game. So when it came out, I gave it a lot of, I suppose, criticism, because it was terrible. It was terrible. Now, I do give credit when the credit is due. And like I've said, now I'm happy to play this game. Now I'm having fun. And I do recommend picking this game up, even at the current stage, because there's a lot of things to do, and for the price, it's not bad. And quite often it gets on sale as well. And I hope the devs will continue to work hard and will continue to improve the game, and make it more accessible, for everybody. And work on those server issues, work on the single player aspects of it as well, and the the AI is right now a bit dumb, and the spawners, I wish the enemy could spawn slower and not right next to the player, because this could cause some grief, if you know what I mean. So there's a lot of things to do, to improve, but for the price, the content they have, I think is finally worth it. Finally worth it. I don't know whether this game will work on every PC, because it does take some power to run it, and it takes port forwarding if you want to play with friends. And excuse me, I'm just gonna blow my nose. Oh man. So yeah. Now, I kind of regret that I have to do post commentary. But feel free to stay and just look at me playing the game. I was essentially exploring it because I'm a newbie. I didn't know really what to do aside from the basics. I see that they've improved melee combat a little bit, so now you have like a combo attack and a standard melee attack. There's a little bit of balancing issues, as in the guns. I've built like a rusted pistol, and that pistol takes a lot of shots to take down an enemy, like, I don't know, 5, 6, and then with the club you can take the enemy out with 3 hits or something, which you would think that it would work the opposite, but because the guns are more powerful, obviously. So I think they're going to balance the game as they go along, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, not many people will like the aesthetics of the game. I personally like it. But I have some issues. Like, if you're harvesting, the colors are so bright of the tool. If you're harvesting like wood or fossils, the colors on the laser beam are so bright and they're changing that it kind of hurts my eyes. So I think people with epilepsy might have some problems. I think they should tone it down a little bit so it's not so irritant. But that's just my complaint. The nights are not really dark. You can really see in the dark, so there's no point of making like torches and stuff like that, which is okay. I don't like totally pitch black games because it just makes experience horrible. And there you have a time like 7 days before at night the monsters will come out and start to hunt you, but I haven't gotten that far. I think it's just my 3rd day or 4th day before I build like the armory, the science tool, the science bench, whatever that is called, and the factory. I was a bit disappointed that when I upgraded the armory, it didn't really give me new recipes. But I think you get recipes from hunting. So I think there's an incentive to, go and kill monsters, go and explore, because you get recipes, you get stuff. So that's pretty cool. I wonder if there's like a teleportation device, or you can build a spaceship. I don't know, because from what I've seen, you can go to a different planet, if I'm not mistaken, or a different land. So yeah, it seems like I barely scratched the surface of what I can do in this game, and it's still in early access, and there's plenty of stuff to craft, plenty of lands to explore, or content to explore actually. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I was Nanashi from Gameplay Shinobi, and otsukare-sama desu.
Hi.